Hello party people, this is Jeremy from Jambalaya Plays Games. Now I'm back with my Selinker from Lonshark Games, and we're here to talk about Ninth World, but we're actually going to cover the solo play. You'll see a little bit about the game, but you'll actually see the solo play this time. So let's just get to it. And
Yeah. All right, so here we are in the Ninth World. It's a billion years in the future. That's Ilion with a B. Here we have Scally, who is our glaive for the day. She's a stealthy glaive who explores dark places. So that gives her some powers and some cards. When she starts out, she's going to start with a scout card and a combat card and 3 effort cards.
Right.
But we're going to start this game a little later in the game, just to give her, to suggest that she's gotten a ways down the road.
Okay.
So at that point, let's say she's raised her combat, because this is a skill building game.
All right.
Let's give her a combat of 2.
Oh.
Put that combat 1 right back. And let's say that she's also spent a little time being better at dealing with the ciphers of the world, so she's going to have a tinker.
Okay.
Let's go get those right in play.
Yep.
So that's her hand.
All right.
And the goal of this game is to do cool things in the future, and when you're good at something, you're better at doing it, right? So, so we're going to take her through a turn.
Okay.
And let me know if I say anything that needs clarification. We are in Ankuan. There are many different regions in this game. This one's a region of it's a seafaring nation, and it's got all sorts of crazy stuff that happens in it. All these regions are very different. They play very different. This one, we're already on round 4, so we're in the 4th mark, and there's this giant axe that comes out of the ground. So what it says here is during this round, it's going to be harder to beat up monsters, but when we do, we're going to get rewarded more for it. And now out there, so what do we have to deal with out here? Well, this environment has 2 places. It's got the town. The town is your generally fairly easy things to do. Low benefit things, and then out in here in the wilderness, it gets kind of crazy.
Okay.
Right, it's hard to deal with, but you get these big rewards and big swings. Scally also is bringing along 3 friends, Nactus, Zari, and Rourke. Now you don't need to know everything about those characters because they're only going to be used for when Scally needs help, and I'm sure we're going to get to the point where she does.
Okay.
So on her turn, she's going to go through 5 phases in order. She's going to go Scout, Tinker, Charm, Combat, Focus.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right? So the first step is Scout. Now she has these cards to play during her turn. During this skill building game, you get only the 5 cards in your hand. You play them during your turn, and then you get them all back at the end of your turn. Okay. So she's going to say, all right, I'm going to spend 1 point on... let's say during the scout phase, she would maybe flip over a card from the wilderness or mark it. Okay. Actually, I think she's probably happy with the way things are right now. Okay. So I think she's going to skip the scout phase. Okay. And go straight into the tinker phase.
So scout is really like going out.
Yeah, it goes in the scout. You would flip over a card, put it out there, and mark it to say you'd seen it. Okay. But I think we're going to not do that because she's got enough challenges here. Right. So instead, she's going to go straight to the tinker phase. Now, in the tinker phase, she can spend, let's say, these cards. So this tinker and 2 effort. Okay. Right? So it gets a total of 3. Now, she can do one of 2 things. And I'll let you decide which of them she does. She can take the Soric armor, which stops her from getting wounds, which is really handy. Yes. Or she could take the sweeping glove, which is an attack item, and the summoning staff. Oh, wow. So she has to make a choice. She has to either choose from cards from the wilderness or cards from the sweeping, cards from the town. Which do you think she should do?
No, I'm fighting. I'm doing the, I'm going out in the wilderness. So.
Okay, so you're going to take the armor. Turns out that's the right decision. Yeah. So she takes that. She takes her token back, and now she has some armor. Right. So that's just gonna sit right here. Okay. That's fascinating.
Yeah.
When she plays powers, she can add her scout card from her hand to her bid. So if she wants to add that in afterwards, after she sees what happens, she can do that.
Yeah.
All right. So now she gets to the combat phase.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. Now she gets to the charm phase.
Yeah.
Turns out there's one quest out there. She could get it. It's a quest that allows her to discard ciphers to gain more points. Right? Oh, I forgot to do something really important. My apologies.
Okay.
She also gained 3 valor for gaining that. So boom, bunk, bunk, bunk. Now, why is this important? Well, by the end of this next round, or the end of round 6, she has to have 40 points, or she loses the game.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so she better get some points.
So that does that move up as you go up the chain? Like
in fact, it can get much more difficult the more stuff you leave in the environment.
Okay.
If she had left that card, right? So let's say she left that there. At the end of the round, this would go up by 1.
Okay.
And so she'd basically be putting itself future in jeopardy, right?
Okay.
So, all right, so she gets to the charm phase. Well, what is she going to do in charm? Well, there is a quest, and it costs 1. Well, she didn't use her scout card before, so now's a good time to do it.
Okay.
So she discards that and gets the this one, which is called Scrap for Parts, and she gets a point right away, so that's good.
Okay.
And now it says discard 1 cipher to complete 1 tier. Well, she has a cipher to discard.
Right.
And if she wanted to, she can gain a point. But she will lose the armor if she does that.
Oh.
She's got to think about that.
Right.
So maybe now's not the time.
Right,
but she's got the option, right?
Huh.
Okay, so now we're going to get to the combat phase. The combat phase, she takes whatever card she has left, she might use it for that, right? So there's a bunch of things out there. She could go after this Calarail, but the problem is she doesn't have enough points left.
Right, she doesn't have enough
unless she wants to ask one of her friends for help.
Here we go.
Now, I mentioned that she's got these friends.
Yeah.
This card, Nactus, says you can discard him for 2 points for his skill.
Right.
Right?
To add 2 combat?
Yeah.
Remove this to add 2 combat.
That's right.
Oh, wow.
So that's interesting, right? She might want to do that.
So support characters are resources.
Yes.
Okay. Do they come back, or this?
No, this is one shot. They're one shot.
One shots. Okay.
Yeah. So if you want to, so she could go after this Calarail if she wanted, or she could instead just play the combat 2 to get either the Anine or the warder over there. So which do you think she should do? Well, it's probably a good idea to get these monsters out of the wilderness, but either way, she should spend that. She might spend that to get these 2 monsters, which are going to be, they're worth getting too.
I think that's because that's 5 points, right?
Yep.
Oh, I want to do that. So
okay, so that's a great thing. So let's say she does that. She spends this combat 2. That's great. Now she gets these 2. Well, let's quickly count it up and see what happens. So this says. It's an Anine, and you get 2 points. Well, great. She hit her threshold.
Right.
That's fantastic. Pack Animal says, when claimed, you may draw and mark a wilderness card. So boom, this comes out, and she'll mark it if she wants to.
Okay.
Do you think
so?
she
What's the
wants
advantage of, like, when you mark it? That means that
you could get it later.
Oh, okay.
But here's the problem. You don't always want more cards in the wilderness in the solo.
Right.
So let's say she doesn't. Let's say she says, you know what, I'm not going to do that.
Right.
Right? Okay, so that's the Anine. Then the warder. It says, oh, wow, I should have read this. You know what? I might have made a mistake. So maybe she can't get the Anine. Because this says, if there's another creature in the town when bids are revealed, this costs 4.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we want to get rid of this anyway.
Right, we do want to get rid of it.
So we're going to leave the Anine where it is.
Okay.
We're going to get those 3 points.
Yep.
We're going to get rid of this.
Okay.
And out it goes. Okay?
Yeah.
So we did that. Maybe that wasn't the best play. We'll figure it out later.
Right.
All right. So the next thing to be aware of is that the character is now, Scally is now out of cards. So in theory, she would be unable to play any cards in the focus phase.
Okay.
But I mentioned she has friends.
Right, she has friends.
Right. So let's say she wants to upgrade her, having learned a lesson from that, she wants to upgrade her Tinker up by 1.
Right.
Okay? So let's say she discards Rourke and wants to, so it costs 1 point for every level that you want to go to.
Okay.
Okay? So she'll spend this Tinker, or so she'll trade out this Tinker and trade out Rourke because he's skilled in focus.
Right.
Right? And this Tinker will become a Tinker 2.
Oh, okay.
Right? The Tinker 1 goes back. Now she's a little better off. And she's ready for the next turn. But unfortunately, in the solo game, the turn doesn't end then. Because that's when you'd like it to end. But
I was going to say, that's a lot in a turn.
Yeah, but unfortunately it doesn't end because now is when the game tries to kill you.
Okay.
So, for every card that is in the wilderness that is a creature, it rolls a die, or if it costs more than that, 2 points, 2 dice, and if it gets a negative result, it destroys one of the town.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't get it. But if it did, it would remove this card, this slot from play, and when all theirs gone, you're dead. It's over.
Oh.
Okay.
Whoa.
So the second thing that happens is that any of the ciphers that are in play, well, they just increase this number by 1.
Okay.
Right. So now it's harder to win the game.
It's harder to win the game.
And these quests, if they're in play out here, they bring more cards out of the wilderness. So you want to keep the wilderness under control, as you can see.
I like this. It's like that's really challenging.
Yeah. So it's basically this giant puzzle game.
Right.
And so at the end of your turn, you did all that. You get that. You get all your cards back, and then the character is ready to go on another turn. You just move. We fill out the wilderness. We look at the number of players. We add another card from the wilderness, so you can see why we might not want to add, because we knew that was coming, right?
Wow, yeah, I know.
and then, but now this one isn't marked, so it's a problem child. Right. And then we move which I've now carefully covered, we move the round marker up by 1, we move on, and then if we are past this point, when we get to round 6, if we're playing a full game, then we're good. But 75 is a long way away.
Yeah,
and we better put some work into it, because otherwise we're going to be in real trouble.
This game is amazing. I'm really surprised. Thanks for showing us this game.
You are most welcome.
It is Ninth World by Lonshark Games. It hits the stores when?
It'll be out on the 20th of June.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. And thanks for tuning in to Jambalaya Plays Games. You can catch me on JamaPG on Twitter and JamalayaPlaysGames.com. Here covering Origins. I'm loving these solo games, and I'm going to keep bringing you some news about all of them. Thank you for your time.